Hi, I'm Benjamin Herold, the author of Disillusioned, 5 Families in the Unraveling of America's Suburbs. I also teach in the College of Education and Human Development at Temple University. And just last semester, I had the opportunity to teach Disillusioned to my undergraduate students. It's for a general education course that meets race and diversity requirements. So it was young people from across the university, different fields and disciplines. And it was just so powerful to see them take the book, take the stories and ideas in the book, and use them to start to see their own communities, their own school systems, and their own personal journeys and identity development in a new way. I'm thinking in particular of one of my students who's a psychology major and very interested in adverse childhood experiences. And she took that interest that she had and then took the book, which opened her eyes to looking at the history of development and decline in the community where she'd grown up, and connected the two together in just an absolutely phenomenal case study. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm just so excited about. It's very, very powerful. Disillusioned is accessible for students at all levels. It's a story that moves really quickly because it's told through the eyes of families and their experiences, very relatable situations and dilemmas that the families find themselves in. But it's also meaty enough for a graduate level study as well, because within those stories, I weave in a lot of research, not just from education, but also from fields like history, sociology, demography, urban planning, and others. So there's a lot to work with there. And part of that is because I was actually a researcher before I became a journalist. I have a master's degree in urban education, and I worked for several years at a nonprofit research agency here in Philadelphia. So I have a long history of thinking about how do we take these complicated ideas and tell them through stories that really illuminate the main point. And so in Suburbia, part of what I argue in the book is those patterns and forces that we look at and try to describe and analyze, they really describe this common pattern of whiter and wealthy families starting out in a suburban community, really designing it to maximize the resources they can extract while excluding everyone else, but also pushing the true costs of maintenance and repair and renewal off onto a future generation. And so what happens was, as families of color and poor families and immigrant families fight their way into suburbia in search of that same social contract the original generations enjoyed, by that point, they kind of stuck with the realization of, oh, wait, I've been left to pay for the opportunities that have already been extracted. So I spent 4 years researching and reporting this book because I wanted it to be something that really changes the conversation, that opens people's eyes to the new suburban reality in America, and that gets us thinking and talking and acting in different ways, breaking down the old myths we have and starting to think about what the new reality is and what we want it to be. I think the book opens a space for really difficult conversations around race and power and land and zoning and a host of other issues. It's also a book that generates a lot of reflection. People see their own stories, their own journeys, their own communities in there, and are able to make sense of them in a new way. So that's what I really hope the outcome of this book is. Couldn't be more excited about the idea of it being used in academic settings, and thank you for your interest.